Good evening, this is your update from the BBC Sports Centre. The changes continue for England's cricket side. Men's head coach Chris Silverwood has left today following Director of Cricket Ashley Giles. It comes after England's 4-0 loss in the Ashes in Australia. The showing widely criticised with performance as part of a wider run that has seen England win only one of their past 14 tests. Sir Andrew Strauss has temporarily taken over from Giles and is set to appoint an interim coach for the Tour of West Indies in March.
You can lose, but you need to compete. And England didn't really compete that strongly. You can put some of the blame on the players, and some players will lose their jobs and were deselected. But also that the buck does rest with the coach and the captain as well. And in this case, Joe Root is almost blameless because, you know, he's such a fantastic player and he tried his absolute best. There were, you know, little strategic decisions that they got wrong. But I think that the selection, the planning and the execution of a lot of the performances were really poor.
It's not much better for England's women. They won't be bringing the Ashes home after Australia won the opening one-dayer in Canberra by 27 runs. England put in a good performance in the field. Beth Mooney rescuing the hosts here with 73. But they scraped 205 for 9 from their 50 overs. England lost captain Heather Knight's LBW for a first ball duck, which saw them 10 for 2. Nat Shiver top scored with 45, but they were ultimately all gone for 178. So with 2 ODIs remaining, England now can only draw the series, which means Australia keep hold of the Ashes. Manchester City are through to the Women's League Cup final after winning against Spurs in their semi 3-0. Gareth Taylor's side haven't lost since November last year and were on top from the start. A great goal from Jess Park gave them a deserved lead. Khadija Shaw made it 2 before Lauren Hemp made absolutely sure of the result in the second half. They'll play Chelsea in the final on March the 5th. Egypt won a dramatic penalty shootout to progress to the final of the Africa Cup of Nations. They beat the hosts Cameroon. The score was goalless after extra time in Yaoundé. Egypt keeper Gabaski had already saved 2 penalties and they were clinical Egypt from the spot, putting all the pressure on Clinton and G for Cameroon, who missed the targets. Delights then for Egypt, misery for Cameroon. Egypt on course for a record-extending 8th African title. And they face Senegal in the final on Sunday. Now, Manchester United's interim boss, Ralph Rangnick, has admitted the decision to keep Jesse Lingard at Old Trafford was partially driven by Mason Greenwood's current unavailability following his arrest. During the transfer window, Lingard was linked with moves to Newcastle and West Ham, but ultimately ended up staying put. Rangnick said today that Lingard had been given a couple of days off to clear his head and would miss Friday's FA Cup 4th round tie with Middlesbrough.
He asked me and the club if we could give him a couple of days off just to clear up his mind. And he will be back in the group, I suppose, next Monday, back for training, and then be a regular part of the whole squad again.
But tonight Lingard has tweeted to say, the club advised me to have time off due to personal reasons, but my headspace is clear and I'll always be professional when called upon and give 100%. New Everton manager Frank Lampard has called on his squad to prove they're good enough to win matches in the Premier League. His former Chelsea teammate Ashley Cole has joined his coaching team, with Everton 16th in the table, having only won 5 matches all season. Lampard believes the players are up to the task.
As much as it's mine to lead it, the job will be the players. And what I've found in the last 3 days is that they're a very, very good group in terms of, I know they want to do really well for this football club. It's written all over their faces. So I hope to give them the direction and the organisation and the ability to express themselves within that to perform at their best.
West Bromwich Albion have appointed Steve Bruce as their new manager on an 18-month deal. Bruce replaces Valérien Ismaël, who was sacked yesterday after just 1 win in West Brom's last 7 games. Bruce left Premier League Newcastle in October after their Saudi Arabia-backed takeover. Tom Curry has been named England captain for their Six Nations opener against Scotland this weekend, with Owen Farrell out of the tournament injured and Courtney Lawes suffering concussion. The Sale back row will lead England for the first time at Murrayfield. At 23, he's the youngest England captain since Will Carling.
It's special, isn't it? Kind of when you grow up, you want to play for England and that's your goal, so then to be captain, yeah, it's really special, isn't it? But we've got to make sure we play on Saturday and we lead by example.
And at the Winter Olympics in Beijing, after 2 wins from 2, Great Britain's mixed doubles team have suffered their first defeat in the curling, losing 8-7 to Switzerland. With the match level, it all came down to the final end. Throwing second, the Swiss had the advantage, and they made it count, getting the one stone they needed to secure the win over Jen Dodds and Bruce Moat. They're back in action tomorrow against Australia, when they'll try to secure a semi-final spot. And in the women's moguls, it was a day to forget for Team GB's Leonie Gerken-Schofield. She failed to finish her first qualification run after falling during her attempt. A better run for her sister Michaela, who finished in 12th place. Both, though, will get a second chance to qualify for the final on Sunday in the second qualification run. William Finelli finished 23rd in the men's event. And that is all the sport from us for now.